What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Remette Swordfish. Got this one through a recent Going Gear box, which was a pleasant surprise because not only is this model sold out on a lot of websites, but this is also a gravity knife, and unfortunately a lot of websites just will not ship gravity knives here to California. Despite them being completely legal to own, they aren't legal to carry, so I guess they just don't want the liability. But that does mean that a lot of companies end up not shipping to California and a handful of other states for gravity knives and autos. And so it was kind of cool to get an opportunity to check this one out. Had my eye on it for a while. Really just wanted to do a quick comparison of this and the EXO, which I also own. Not going to be doing an official comparison in this video, so I didn't pull that one out, but I will be referencing it quite a bit throughout the video because it's the most obvious comparison to this model. Now, if you want to pick up the Swordfish, these are available for $269, so definitely not cheap, neither is the EXO. You get Bohler M390 on the steel, nice titanium handles, and mine has a copper carbon fiber inlay, although if you're not into copper, they do offer it in a bunch of different other options. I'm super into copper and brass and other materials like that, so I think that looks great. Now, first obvious comparison, I think, for this and the EXO, if you're going to reach for one to use as an actual work knife, that's your kind of intended use case for it. You don't care about the fidgeability, you want something that's robust, well built. I think you go with the Swordfish. This one definitely feels a lot kind of more hefty and robust in hand, just better built. It also locks up a lot nicer. So you'll see, as long as that blade is fully deployed, there's no side to side, no front and back blade play whatsoever, which you definitely get in the EXO. Now, if you don't fully deploy it, I'm going to move this back just a hair so you can see what that looks like. So it looks like the blade's fully out, but you can see those wings didn't fully close. And now if we move it back and forth, you're getting a decent bit of play. So you always want to make sure that's fully deployed and that's fully locked up. The other reason you want to make sure it's fully deployed is if while you're cutting a not fully deployed, you can force this back in there if it's not fully locked out. And so that's not going to be particularly dangerous to your hand. It's all enclosed in the handle. So even if that does retreat or retract into the handle while you're using it, your hand's not going to be touching any portion of that. But still, you want to make sure that's fully deployed in order to start cutting with it. And so once it's fully locked up, it definitely feels a lot more solid than the EXO, which I always feel like feels a little bit fragile because of all of that play in the blade, and it's a little bit thinner. It just feels a little more fragile than that one, this one. So if you're looking for a work knife, this is the one I'd go with. If you're looking for that fidgetability, and that's kind of their main focus for wanting a gravity knife, they're great fidget knives. This one included. This is very high on that fidgetability scale, but I think the EXO wins that battle by a little bit. It's a little bit more intuitive. You wouldn't think so because this one's a button. It's very obvious how it works, but with the EXO, it's just a super natural motion, and as soon as you drop the frame of that handle for it to open, start sliding out, it's super smooth in comparison to this one. This one, you can see it has this fuller here. And inside there, there's a nub on either side. Hopefully that's picking up a little bit. A nub on either side that sits inside of that track that just makes sure it kind of stays in a straight line. I'm sure it helps a little bit, keeping it a little bit more secure once it's all locked up as well. But what that means is sometimes if you're at just kind of a weird angle, it doesn't want to slide. So you have to make sure it's kind of a nearly straight up and down before it starts sliding out. Now, also you can just flick this thing out. A lot easier to do when you're standing up, but definitely doable sitting as well. So this still has a great fidget factor, but I do think the EXO wins out a little bit there. The acoustics are also incredible on the EXO. Some of my favorites on any knife I own. My wife happens to hate that, so it's definitely a preference thing, but for me, I think the acoustics, the fidgetability went out by a little bit on the EXO over the Swordfish, where the Swordfish is a little bit more of a user knife, and that goes into the ergos as well. So it's also a larger knife. I haven't mentioned that yet. 7.76 inches overall, 4.73 inches on the handle, and I find the handles on this significantly more comfortable than the EXO. The EXO doesn't really have anything going on shape-wise. It's just a straight square. This one doesn't have a ton. It's kind of more of a coffin type shape, but these wings that act as our lockup mechanism really have a ton jumping. You're able to pinch down tightly on there. It feels very secure in your hand. You're not sliding forward or backwards. The handles are also a little bit more comfortable for me. Pocket clip disappears just like it's supposed to. So feels great in the hand, no hot spots whatsoever. Definitely prefer this grip over the EXO. Now, we also have a great milled titanium pocket clip that is easy to slide in and out of the pocket, although they do ship it with this leather sheath, which kind of blocks the pocket clip off. Even though the clip is still exposed, this does keep you from accidentally pushing that button in your pocket and deploying it. But you can see the leather is kind of on the same level as the pocket clip now, so it's not super usable while in the sheath, but it does have a great pocket clip if you're not going to take advantage of that slip. And you'll notice right away, great titanium milled pocket clip, non-reversible, so there's no holes drilled on the other side for lefties. However, this is apparently a very ambidextrous knife. From my understanding, you can disassemble this, turn the blade around completely, so just flip it around inside the handle. You don't have to worry about moving the button or that pocket clip, and it is now set up for left-hand friendly carry. Completely ambidextrous, truly ambidextrous, where it's the same exact experience for lefties as righties once you get that blade turned around. And so that's a really neat feature as well. 3.03 inches on that blade. Nice clip point blade, not a super pronounced clip point. It's gonna get kind of a short clip at the tip, but looks great. Nice flat grind on there, partial flat grind up to our track. And so this isn't exactly a fuller, it's more of a track. There's these nubs sitting in there, like I mentioned. And so really nice grind on there, and just a fun knife overall. Great dimpling pattern, similar to a golf ball on the handle that offers a little bit more grip. Don't know whether to call these back spacers or not, since they fully encompass both the front and back side of the knife, but on those there's a little bit more of a milling pattern on there to just add just a little bit more grip. And then last but not least, you do have a spot for a lanyard back here. So it's a little bit of a small lanyard hole, not going to be able to do like 550 paracord, but some smaller cordage through there. You do have to remove the handles. Well, I guess you don't have to. A lot easier if you remove the handles, put it on there and just put the handles back on, than trying to thread through a small piece of cordage through that opening. But really cool knife overall. 4.35 ounces, so definitely on the heavier side. But like I said, this just feels robust and comfortable to use. Feels very well balanced as well. So I don't notice the weight all that much. Great steel on it as well with that Bohler M390. And yeah, just a cool build. It's a lot of fun. I think they just released another, or they're about to release another model with this similar mechanism as the gravity knife. So that'll be definitely interesting to check out. I would also love to see a slightly smaller version, just like we have the mini version of the Riyadh XO and the medium version. It would be cool to get a smaller version of this as well. But really cool knife. Would love to hear your thoughts on it down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, join the channel as a member, or check out some of my other videos. All help the channel out a ton. And as always, hope you have a great one. Take care.